And we are live.
Welcome to the Phil and Cory Show, where we tell the story of American small business success through the mentorship of key people, of course. A fresh look inside business every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Central, live right here on Facebook. Of course, YouTube as well. Today's special guest is Jeff Gillespie, who, along with his wife Stacy, owns All Flowered Up 2 here in Lubbock. They've been making a big splash, and I know we're all excited to hear about them. Cory, Phil, take it away.
Hey guys, welcome Jeff. Just get some housekeeping out of the way.
First, thank you to Dylan of Pecan Ridge for doing that intro for us. That was really great.
Absolutely. Dylan,
we're truly blessed to be sponsored by our guest today, All Flowered Up 2. If you need flowers in Lubbock, you know what to do. Call or click All Flowered Up 2, www.allfloweredup2, that's TOO, not TWO.com. The link is in the description of the video, and you can always give them a shout at 806-993-0078.
And of course, Dylan from Pecan Ridge was just here, but Pecan Ridge is a great sponsor as well, and they're doing it right when it comes to pecans. Get your gifts and pecan treats from Pecan Ridge this week for Mother's Day. Pecan Ridge, a West Texas tradition. Find them at pecanridge.com or give them a shout at 806-794-2022.
Both of these wonderful sponsors are actually running some Mother's Day specials right now, so reach out to them. I know Pecan Ridge has it on their website. Jeff, I'm sure you do as well. Everyone's mom loves some pecan treats and flowers for Mother's Day. I personally just placed my order with Pecan Ridge this morning for my Mother's Day gift. Mom, if you're watching, ignore that, okay? I didn't do that. And then, of course, I've just talked to Jeff and said, hey, you're going to hook me up with some flowers, right?
Yeah, Jeff will hook up the flowers for sure. So Jeff, how's it going? What's going on?
It's going great. Yeah, we're doing pretty good. The shop's booming. It's Mother's Day week. Everybody's trying to get their last minute orders in for Mother's Day. And
yeah. Well, cool. Jeff, we know what you do. So why don't you go ahead and tell everybody else kind of what All Flowered Up to, how you got started and what the business is about briefly.
Sure. Yeah, All Flowered Up 2. Actually, it got started in 1988. Stacy's been in flowers, processing them, selling them ever since. We've had several different shops in Lubbock. We've had shops in East Texas, Orlando, Florida. We opened our first storefront in 2004. And so we opened up in Lubbock in 2018 to the public. Before that, we did a lot of wire orders, and we figured, the public deserved to have fresh product at a reasonable price. So that's why we opened up in Lubbock.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. So, I guess as business owners, we often talk about getting our piece of the pie when it comes to market share. And, ultimately we want majority of the pie, right? But we understand that you've kind of taken over market share in Lubbock. We kind of wanted you to tell us a little bit about what that looks like, what, expanding at least, and what steps that All Flowered Up 2 and other business owners can take to accomplish getting more market share and expanding that.
Sure. It used to be, I've been in sales for about 25 to 30 years. And so what I've learned back 20, 30 years ago, it was all knocking on people's door, getting in front of people. And, when I got back into it in 2018, when we decided to open to the public, it was how do you reach people now? You reach people on their phones, you reach people on their computers. People are connected nowadays. So it's not an old knock on the door. It's how do you get in their phones? And you get in their phones several different ways. You heard the term, just Google it. Google's a big player. They're actually the number one advertiser in digital advertising, followed by Facebook. Facebook's another thing. People are, just look around. I mean, it's that simple. It's a buying behavior. People are at a stoplight. What are they doing? Are they looking around to see, who's next to them? No, they're down there. They're on their phone. They're seeing what update they had, what notification they got. You got to get in people's phones, and that's how you do it.
Yeah, for sure. I think market share and getting out there on the digital marketing side of things is super important. And people are making that transition more and more. But what would you say to some of the holdouts that are, dipping their toe into digital marketing and not really getting onto people's phones and not really putting, what I think is, they're doing a half measure instead of a whole measure, right? This is the new wave. And so what would you say to those people that really they're thinking about digital marketing? Maybe they spend $20 on a boosted post or something, but they're really not getting in there.
I would say do your research. I mean, a lot of it comes down to, I go to national marketing and advertising seminars and, finding out what the latest trends are and how to, measure or get your metrics on it. I mean, you don't know if something works. If you're just going into, Facebook, you said, boosting a post. Instead of boosting a post, get into the back end, get into the ads manager of Facebook and kind of see, where you want to spend that $20. A boosted post, you have limited functionality. Get into the back end of it and say, okay, I want to know people that have a birthday coming up in the next week. Those are the people I want to target. I want to put my $20 there instead of just throwing it out on the street.
That's a really good point.
That's a really interesting point, Jeff, because a lot of people say, oh yeah, digital marketing, but they generally forget a lot of the times that, they have data on you. So they know things like, well, when's their birthday? That's a really neat, I never thought about saying, oh, well, when's someone's birthday? That's a really neat thing. Now, Jeff, I know from what I hear, you don't just sell flowers, right? Your business does house, office plants, and tuxedos, right?
Oh, definitely. We do. We also have, people think of flower shops for just flowers, but we also have plants. We have candy bouquets. We have rent and sell tuxedos for weddings, special occasions, those kind of things. And really, we have a new line coming out that I'm not going to quite let out yet, but I mean, that's going to really take over our part of it. And, gift baskets, snack baskets, things like that. People, it has to do with flowers. Yes, we do that as well. We can do anything with flowers, but we also have a lot of things that go along with it.
So what got you, I mean, obviously flowers are where you started, right? But what got you into, what drove those decisions to get to all these, accessory type items?
Well, basically it comes down to, you want to be a one-stop shop, without really going into and looking desperate, like for us, people think of weddings, they think of flowers, well, they also have, when they're doing their flowers, they want their flowers to match their tuxedos or their dresses and this and that. So, as far as our tuxedo line, that's where that came into play.
Yeah, I think just having those complimentary services is really kind of a unique thing that a lot of, I would say, and I don't know, maybe they do because I don't really know too much about the flower industry, but I would think that not a whole lot of flower places are doing tuxedos and then all of the wedding and that kind of thing all together. Is that pretty true, or are you guys kind of unique in that way?
As far as I know, we're the only one. I mean, we're the only one that's advertised. We're the only one that actually, if you look online for tuxedos, we're the only flower shop that comes up because, they just focus on the flowers. But for us, it's a full stop shop, where you come in here. Prom's a good thing. People order flowers for prom while they rent tuxedos. Well, people have busy schedules. So why have a mother of 2 or 3, that's already got a busy schedule, meet, at a flower shop to pick up the flowers or order the flowers and then go to a tuxedo shop to pick up, something that's going to match the flowers. Well, we do everything right there in house.
And I guess that'd be really helpful if you're doing a wedding or something like that, to be able to say oh no, we just have one contractor, not 15.
Mm-hmm, exactly. And it helps out because it's less that they have to do. They don't have to deal with another person or another company and really deal with the stress. And if they're not easy to order from, that may be an issue too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of not just the flower industry, but most industries today have gone to internet, for ordering and mobile apps and things like that. And that can be rough for small businesses because these big companies have these massive budgets and software engineers that work for them and everything else that that develop these great apps and stuff like that. And so obviously it's kind of being the underdog is kind of being a small business in your field, but obviously you're sitting there thriving. What things are you doing to overcome those types of challenges?
Well, it's making sure that when people come, it's all about experience with us in both the front end and the back end. as far as the front end, people send flowers for various reasons, but really it's about enhancing or creating an experience. And so in order to do that, we want people to order from us very easily, whether it's, that comes down to on the phone, or if somebody gets on our website, I want them to be able to find what they want relatively easy at the price point that they're looking for. And, we deliver, 7 days a week, same day delivery. So we try to make the buying and the whole experience very user friendly and very easy for people.
Yeah, I think, as more fulfillment models, not just in the flower industry. I mean, you were talking the wire side of things has been ongoing for many, many years now, calling one of the national companies, and then you guys are the ones that implement and deliver that product, right? But considering that, a lot of different companies are going towards the Uber model of like everything is kind of outsourced or kind of spread out. What would you say would be something that business owners need to know if transitioning to that, traditional model of their business, going towards that wire side, and trying to balance out? Because I assume you've got the wire side and you've got the direct sale, right?
Yes, we do. And in our industry, unfortunately, there are a lot of industries that have what we consider wire services or wire sides. Like in construction, it would be your Angie's List and those kind of things. What people don't realize, a lot of consumers, they get on there because it's about trust. They don't know anybody local, so they trust a national chain. And what they don't realize is the national chain's just taking their cut of the product, whether it's on the front end or the back end. They charge you either more for the product, or they charge a processing fee, which you're going to pay that anyway, and you're not getting what you pay for with a national chain, because they don't have, look around, they don't have any stores. The national chains don't have local stores. They just pass it on to people like us, so we're the ones that are fulfilling it. For example, if somebody spends $100 on flowers with a national chain, we may get $50 or $60 of that $100. So that person's only going to get a $50 or $60 arrangement. You get what you pay for, but we're the ones that are getting paid. And then they complain, and then we have to explain to them the process. And, and I wish more people knew about that, because the consumers are the ones that are getting the shaft in the long run.
Yeah, and Philip and I, and and you're in the same kind of networking groups as us, and we really try to rely heavily on local businesses. And that's a great point. Is all they're doing is taking their cut from the national chain, but getting a small business's name out there is definitely harder. So balancing the two sides of, hey, my margins are going to be lower, but I'm going to possibly get a little bit more volume through here, versus I've also got to balance in the direct sales and try to market that direct sale, right?
Correct.
So how does I guess the next kind of leading question is, how does your business kind of balance those things? Are they lopsided? Are you selling more from the wire services, or are you selling more from the and hopefully the local business direct sales? How's your business looking right now?
Right now, it's pretty much 50-50. It didn't start off that way, obviously. When we started off on the direct sales with the marketing that we were doing, we were heavily marketed in pretty much every place we could be. At least we tried to be. And that was our biggest problem, being the new kid on the block in Lubbock, Texas, in our industry, is people didn't know. The first year we heard it, we got a lot of, I didn't know you were here, or I didn't know you existed. I'm glad I found you now, those kind of things. And that's really what marketing is about, is getting your name out. And I think that now that we've gotten our name out to some extent, people are actually, they know who we are, whether, they use us or not. They know who we are and what we do. And that's a good thing, because that's really all marketing is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when I was in Chicago, I visited a Mercedes parts distribution center that serviced the entire, northern Illinois area and all that. And they had this huge parts warehouse, and I think it was like 6 parts from every type of vehicle from, all of the parts from every type of vehicle for the last 10 years were in that Mercedes parts distribution center. And what they would do is they had this algorithm, and they would go pick a bunch of parts. And the very next day, all of those parts were ordered and picked up by the dealerships in the area. And they had a 96.5% accuracy rate on that. And only a couple of things would go back on the shelf. But of course, small business, one, you're not going to have that accuracy rate. And then two, flowers, like, that's an expendable product. You can't keep a flower on the shelf for 10 years. So how do you balance your accuracy rates on ordering? And, obviously, year after year, you've got Mother's Day that kind of ramps up. And how do you kind of balance those, your raw materials into flowers? And, you've got vases and all kinds of things that you can keep, but, those flowers are definitely expendable. How does that work for your business?
Well, actually, for the day to day, Stacy pretty much runs, and she's a mastermind at that. Like I said, she's been in the flower industry for over 30 years. And so she's gotten used to the ordering. And what people don't realize behind the scenes, it takes her a good 3 weeks to get the orders in. And, we got to stagger flowers because we don't like keeping flowers for too long. I mean, our typical flower inventory, we get flowers in every day. So we try to make them last. We get them in, we process them, put them in water, let them drink, liven back up and get to where their full potential is. And then we try to keep them for about 2 days and then, send them out in an order or in an arrangement or something like that. Because, if we keep them too long, they're not going to last as long for our customers. And that's really what it's about for us. We want our flowers to last as long as they possibly can.
Well, cool.
So I've got a question about flower shops that I've always wondered. Obviously, you guys, like, your business comes in a lot of spurts. Obviously, you're busy all year round, right? But when Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, like, all of a sudden, your business like absolutely explodes for that short period of time. How on earth do you operate a business where obviously, like, you probably, like, on Mother's Day around this week, you need like 10 employees, and then the rest of the year you may need like 2 employees, so like you all of a sudden end up with like 1,000 hours you need to work this week, and then like next week you need like 100. Like, how in the world do you manage that?
Well, it's really hard, especially, around Valentine's Day itself, because Valentine's Day is a day. I mean, if you think about it, everybody wants their product on Valentine's Day. I mean, we're just slammed this Valentine's Day. The ordering, you talk about the ordering, Valentine's week, we had over 15,000 stems of roses in our shop. That's just in roses. That's not the other flowers. So, it comes into, as far as manpower and getting them, you're always going to be just like in a drive-through, I mean, when it's rush season, people are going to be backed up. Things are going to be hectic. No matter how much you plan for, you always need to, just figure out what you're going to be able to do. And we have a lot of, people that are part-time during the year. And then, when it comes to that week, that the part-time goes into overtime, not just full-time, but overtime, I mean, they're working 12, 14-hour days where before they're working 4 and 5, and so we just try to have as many people as possible, and you run into snags and you just do your best. And, again, that's where, Stacy's been doing that part, managing people for a long time as well in the flower industry. So I think we do a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's a pretty big business challenge. I've always wondered that. I'm like, I see these flower shops, they have like 3 people back there, and then all of a sudden, like, one day they've got like, oh yeah, let's get like, they need like 15 people. It's very difficult, interesting business problem to have.
It is temporary help, and sometimes, and it is, when you don't have the part-timers you can put into overtime, you have to bring in temporary help, and that can be good or bad because, they're coming in on your name too, on your brand. So, and people don't understand that, it comes to people, when it comes to food, they're a little upset, but they'll wait 10 minutes for, a burger or something because they know it's busy. But people in the flower industry, they know it's busy, but it's like they don't care. They're relentless. But we just do our best and try to take care of people as much as we can, because that's really what we're about, is a long-term relationship with our customers.
Yeah, I guess you really can't say like, hey, listen, we're a little busy today, so you mind if I deliver your roses the day after Valentine's Day? Is that cool?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah. I can only imagine the Karens. But yeah, that's an interesting thing because I mean, if I was giving a gift to someone and it didn't arrive the way I wanted it or something like that, I mean, I know that, if it's my food or my thing or my gift or whatever to me, I'm like, oh, okay, it wasn't exactly right. It was for me. But if I'm ordering it for someone else, I can imagine that you get completely, and so how do you resolve some of that stuff? I mean, because that's a different level. That's not, my food wasn't ready in 15 minutes, right? So how do you resolve some of that?
Well, we do our best. I mean, really, we take care of everything as quick as we can. It depends on, the complaint, I mean, and when you're as busy, we don't take care of everything personally. Obviously, we have people working for us. So if somebody makes a mistake between our designers or our drivers, we make it right, whatever the case may be. We had one Valentine's order. He got a dozen red instead of a dozen white. They dropped off the wrong arrangement. We got it swapped within, I think, 30 or 45 minutes. I mean, the same day. It's not, we can't, in our industry, we can't wait a couple of days. It's not like a broken TV. Oh, well, it'll just sit in the corner for a while. I mean, our product, people want it right then. It's about the experience or, enhancing an experience. So they want the experience to be right the first time.
For sure.
Have you ever had like a customer say like, hey, can you drop these off to my wife or girlfriend and say like, sorry, we were supposed to deliver these yesterday?
No, we don't really. We've never really had
just if the guy forgot to order it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, that comes down to our customer service. Yes, we would do that. I mean, if somebody, we would. I actually had a guy not this past Valentine's Day, but the Valentine's Day before, and we were so slammed. We had people that didn't show up for work and this and that. And we had some guy about 4 PM. We started turning down orders about 2 that day. 4 PM, he just walks in and he just kind of has his head down and he said, man, I forgot it was Valentine's Day. And I felt so bad for the guy. And I just looked at him and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I mean, I wish there was something we could do, but we were already behind on the orders because we were taking walk-ins and stuff we weren't prepared for. So,
man. Yeah, that's devastating because it's like there's nothing we can do. There's nothing, and sometimes there's just nothing anybody can do on different businesses.
So I guess there is a point where you kind of have to start saying no to orders. Is that right?
Well, I wouldn't think that, but yes, I mean, when we don't, we try, and that's where we get in trouble sometimes. As a small business owners, we try to help everybody out because it is, our town. It's the town that we love. It's the town that we do business in. So it's not about making the money. It's about putting out the product, because the money will come and go. Our philosophy and our bottom line, we look at metrics, but it's not just about the number of orders or the money coming in. It's about taking care of the Lubbock community and our customers. You take care of the customers, you'll have returning customers. And that's really our true stance in our business.
Yeah, I think just customer service in general, a lot of people, especially in the West Texas area, a lot of people rely heavily on that customer service. And I'll tell you, even from my time in Chicago, customer service at a restaurant, if you get a bad Yelp review, they paid, I think the job interview that I had for a Yelp, it was just a Yelp person. That was the job. If you sit in front of the computer, $80,000 a year to sit in front of a computer and respond to positive and negative Yelp reviews because customer service is such a big deal. What if any training do you have with customer service when you onboard even temporary help or permanent help? Are there certain things that you guys kind of instill in values and kind of your mission statement or anything like that with your employees on that customer service?
Oh, definitely. I mean, our customers are our top priority. I mean, we basically instill old school type of, customer service where, the customer is paying our bills. I mean, you're not going to be able to please everybody in business. And there's some people that are going to just try to get something for nothing. And we pretty much weed those people out. I mean, unfortunately, we do have the right to refuse service to anybody. But if you want to do business with us, we're willing to bend over backwards and do business with you. And our employees know that. I mean, our designers have been with us for a solid year now. I mean, they have anywhere between 10 and 25 years of experience in the field. But with us, we're pretty picky when it comes to, designers that are going to stick around with us, because it is a full package. You have to fit in with our other designers, fit in with our business model, fit in with our customer service. Because if you're going to, you talk bad about any of our customers to them or, somebody else, you don't work for us. I mean, It's about, pleasing the customer and having a long-term relationship. And you can't have that with, temporary help is hard. And anybody that's ever managed or owned a business that had temporary help, because they're just there for the holiday, or they don't have a vested interest in it. So it's, we treat all of our help good, especially with bonuses. We give bonuses after every holiday and that kind of things, just to try to show our appreciation, because holidays beat people down, especially in the floral industry.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Just what we were talking about earlier, you said you had, what'd you say, 15,000 stems of roses on Valentine's?
15,000?
That's gotta, all of those have got to be placed in an arrangement by hand, right?
By hand.
Do the people you hire typically have, like, I guess, like, if you hired me to come be a flower, don't. If you hired me, I'd be like, dude, I don't know a single thing about
looking for a new job. His boss.
Do most people that you hire, like, have a sense of, like, oh yeah, I know how to do a bouquet of roses? Or do you straight up just have to train them from point one? Like, do you have a picture and say, like, hey, this is what it's supposed to look like? Obviously, I'm sure your wife does, like, quality control before everything goes out or something like that. But, like, how does that work? Do you train everybody, or?
Well, that's just it. People that, work for us, they have to have some type of background in floral. I mean, even as our, trainees, as you will, I mean, usually have a year or two experience minimum, because, we can't put out product against our name that isn't quality. And, we have people that say, oh, it's not that hard. You just throw a couple of stems into a vase and put water in it. Well, if you think that, try it and try to sell it. It may look good to you, but you sell it. People are picky when it comes to flowers, like, just shades or different hues. Did you know that there are over 295 shades of green and over 445 shades of red? I didn't. I mean, but Stacy did. She, when it comes
we're the wrong group of people to be talking about shades of different colors right now. Probably
there are eight Crayola colors, right? That's where it stops.
Yeah, well, says the Marine. And he orders a number 2 every time.
And that's what I think, But when it comes to that, I mean, I can sell a product. I can sell our product because, number one, I believe in it. Number 2, I know that it's going to be done right. Number 3, I know that our customers are going to be taken care of. And in sales, that's easy to do. I know Stacy is an absolute mastermind. I mean, being in the industry for over 30 years. And when it comes to, I mentioned all those colors, she can match those colors. When it comes to color matching, she's got OCD. Now me, I can say, hey, that's green. I may joke and say, what shade of green are you waiting on? Beside somebody at a red light. But other than that, it's amazing what she does if you sit down and think about everything and all the colors she matches, and it's phenomenal.
And I guess that most of that just comes, like, years and years and years of experience, like being able to see that, huh?
Definitely. When we worked for the national chains for a very long time, people complain because the national chains, their biggest thing is what they guarantee your money back. I'm not saying we won't give people their money back, but you have to have, reasonable. We're going to make everything right. We're going to make everything right for our customers no matter what. But, a lot of people, again, they work the system in our industry just like everywhere else. They'll order from a national chain because they know they can complain a couple of days later. But it's just what they complain about, and it's making it right. They're going to try to make it right because they want them ordering from them and not from somebody local. So yeah, it is really amazing.
So if they go to a national chain, they really don't get a lot of the customizability, do they?
No, they don't. And actually, we get a lot of our complaints. When we put our name on products, it usually goes on everything that we make and come out. But a lot of our complaints are, hey, well, we told them we didn't want any substitutions, or we wanted this in particular. And when it comes to the wire services or the national chains, they have a policy. You can substitute color, you can substitute flowers, but that's not what somebody ordered. But that's really not. That's something out of our control. So I mean, that's something they have to deal with the national chain.
And I guess that's a lot of the building the relationship part. That when you go to the end of the line last mile flower shop like yourself, for these national chains, you get to talk to the person that's actually going to put that arrangement together. And if you say, hey, I really like this color here, do you have something like this color? They can go, oh, yeah, absolutely, we can do that. And I guess if you're in a national chain clicking on a website, that's not really a button you can press, is it?
No, it's not. And that's one of the things that really is a problem, because people don't get what they're paying for. It goes down to not only price but availability. I mean, they don't know if we have something available or not. I mean, my advice to people buying flowers or anything from a flower shop is, number one, buy local. Not only the price issue, but you're going to know what they have. You're going to build a relationship. And if you don't know, some people go to national chains because they're timid, or they don't want to make that jump. They don't know if they can trust that shop. All I can do is tell you to try, because you're going to have the same problem when you go to a national chain, because the national chains send it to, which most of them send it to their premier florist first, which we're a premier florist on every national chain, but they send it, to them first, and then they send it, somewhere else second. So you never know where it's going to go. You calling a local store, you know exactly who you called, you know exactly who you're dealing with. If you don't like them, go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same with Vistaprint and things like that. You're getting those business cards from a local dealer. They're just printing it on, and they've got the Vistaprint label on it, and they'll send it through the Vistaprint mail, but it's coming from your local dealer, whoever Vistaprint hires to do that. And it may be in West Texas, you may get it out of Dallas or something, but it's not too far off, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing happens with the flowers. They've got the premier dealers, and they've got who they're going to go through. And then if you guys say, no, we're not going to handle it, or we don't have those flowers right now, right, then they pass it on to somebody that's not necessarily subpar. We're not going to call anybody any names, but they're not the premier dealers. They don't have the reputation. They don't have the business acumen. They don't have the years of experience. Some of those things may be lacking, right?
Definitely. I mean, you got to go with who you trust. And in order to build a trusting relationship, you've got to try new things. I mean, that's with anything. We're new to Lubbock. We're not new to the industry. So, we were the new kid on the block 2 years ago, and people were just like, we don't know who you are. We don't know if we can trust you. And after a couple of years, they know, they see us everywhere. So they're like, let me try them out. And then, okay, well, they did a good job. I'm going to, use them from here on out, and this and that. So, it really comes down to trust and knowing who you're doing business with.
Yeah. And I think, partially what you just said there too, kind of helps with that market share. What I asked earlier too, is like, you building that trust in the local area will help you build that market share.
Yeah. And, I have a real strong idea and mindset when it comes to market share, but, we've got the market share, the majority market share in our industry in Lubbock, but then that comes with some negative connotation too. We produce more orders per day than any other shop. And so some of the other shops or some other, people, everybody wants to talk, and they're like, oh, well, they're a quantity shop and not a quality shop, and, it's not that, we care about the quality, but it's providing consumers with a quality product at a reasonable price. I mean, a lot of shops, and this isn't just in Lubbock, this is everywhere. A lot of flower shops overcharge people because they think that they can spin it however they want. They can say, oh, well, it's quality, or it's this, or it's that, or it's extravagant. Sales pitches are pitches, but when it comes down to it, the other shops are just charging more money to get a bigger margin. That's what it comes down to. They're wanting a bigger margin at the end of the day, when we want more customers at a quality product, quality price, and they'll be back. Yes, you can spend $1,000 on an arrangement with us. We're not going to turn it away, and it'll be better than you're going to get anywhere else, because our margins are smaller than everybody else, and we're okay with that because it's
because you are doing
market
both.
Share. Yes.
Yeah, and those aren't mutually exclusive, right? So you can be a higher volume shop and have high quality.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of those things that you got to balance out, and you guys are doing a very good job of that, right?
No, definitely. I mean, you have to. There are people that just want to spend money just because they say that, oh, I spent $200 on this, or I spent $300 on that, and that's okay. We're a custom shop. We can do anything with flowers that can be done. I mean, again, it comes down to our 30 plus years of experience just in the owner. Not only our designers, between our designers and our owner, just the two main designers we have and our owner, we have over 60 years of experience.
That's pretty awesome. So, that's lots of experience.
So do you have a lot of customers? Like, I know if I was ordering flowers for Valentine's Day, I don't know a thing about flowers. Do you have somebody that a lot of your customers will call and just say, listen, I don't know what she wants. I don't know what she likes. I've got $100. Can you get me flowers? Do you have customers like that?
That's me, by the way.
Oh, all the time. And that's okay. That's just with anything. I mean, you don't have to know, if you go to a quality shop, you don't have to know what you want. You have to trust, again, a little level of trust there. Our designers answer the phones, unless we're extremely busy and they have to design, we get other people to answer the phones as well. And Stacy answers the phone too, because she's got the experience. She knows, okay, well, what are you looking for? What kind of colors? What's it for? She asks all the relevant questions. And so that way we can, have a product, to a customer, to the recipient, the person they're sending it to. And they're like, wow, one thing I've learned, and I've analyzed this business for the last 2 years when I really got involved in it when we opened to the public. And people send flowers for one reason. They want acknowledgement. They want to create and enhance an experience, because we'll get people, we'll deliver something early in the morning, and, somebody will call 2 or 3 times. Hey, has this been delivered? Well, yes, it's been delivered. The number one thing they say is, well, the recipient, whoever received the flowers, didn't call me and tell me thank you, or we're out of that. But that's why people send it, and that's why people want to know if it's delivered, because they want the thank you, they want the acknowledgement of them being sent.
That's a really interesting kind of twist and turn on that thing. It's like I think the first time I ever heard this kind of statement was from my uncle, who said there's no such thing as an unselfish unselfish move, right? Everything we do is selfish in some way, shape, or form, in a way, right? We can be selfless, but there's a selfish part of that in some way, shape, or form. So when we give flowers, or we want that acknowledgement that we did something good. And so that's a really interesting take on the psychology of why people buy your product. And that may be something that somebody else out there, some other business owner, needs to hear. So it maybe clicks a switch. Say, my product is not for the end user that gets the product. My product is so that the end user acknowledges that my product was given to them, right? As a gift.
Exactly. Sales, there's a lot of books on sales that are, psychologically driven, just like free delivery. If you reach this point, people are searching carts to try to see what they can add to get their free delivery and this and that,
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. But, it does come down to, I'd say what I had to do is I had to look at the business and I had to say, okay, well, what's working, what's not working, what can we do to make things better, and why are people ordering product? And as far as ordering product, like I said, it comes down to an experience. If you send a flower arrangement for a birthday, you want, the person receiving it, to really enjoy it, love it, and that's part of our, when we go, I've delivered products to people. And when you do that, it's kind of like the end result. You see the people going ecstatic and happy and jumping up and down when they receive a quality product. And that's what makes our day. I mean, that's what it's all about for us. It's about the experience or enhanced experience that we can provide people. And that's really, our core value is providing a quality product so we can create that experience for everybody. Not everybody's a millionaire and can afford $1,000 arrangement,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Yeah. This guy right here can't, mom's not getting anything this year. No. But no, but at
sorry,
the end
Cory's
of the day,
mom. He's this rude to me as well. So
yeah, no flowers for anyone, none. No, but what would you say? You kind of, a good caveat there was to kind of, you were talking about researching and doing all this stuff. What would you say the future of All Flowered Up 2 kind of looks like?
Well, the future of All Flowered Up 2, actually, for one, the physical location we're at. I mean, this is our second location in Lubbock that we moved into. We're actually going to move into another place sometime by the end of this year, I hope, so that we can expand and have more product line in there and more people to service our customers. So, I mean, that's really as far as that goes. But we have a lot of different products that we're working on to complement what we have. We're working on more of, like, we have candles. One thing that we added this year that we really started pushing, which is a real good seller, is our candle bouquets, which is a candle and a flower arrangement on top of the candle, which is amazing. So, you have the flower arrangement, and then once it, eventually dies or, wilts or whatever weeks later, then you have the candle that you can use for, however long you burn a candle. But, it's adding other products to our product line to where, like you said, to put stems together, it takes time. I would say it takes 15 to 20 minutes on average for each order that we receive, and that's somebody actually doing it, looking at it, arranging it a certain way. And so it does take time. So we're getting a lot of products that aren't going to take as much time and still service our customers.
So, moving on a little bit to a little segment we like to call Lessons Learned. If you could go back in time to when you were just starting this business and whisper something in your own ear, what would you whisper?
This is getting hot.
I guess I would tell my past self, do a lot more research, figure out, get everything set up on your metric side. Because when we started this thing, I worked in corporate America in Dallas in a corner office, beautiful view for years before I got into the oil and gas industry 18 years ago. And I got back into this in marketing and advertising 2 years ago. So everything had changed. I mean, the whole marketing world had changed. Like I said, before it was knock on the door. That's how you got people's attention. Well, now it's all online, and I had to learn that. So I hired a national company, which, I shouldn't have done, but I needed a head start. I needed something out there. So I just threw a bunch of money at, our marketing and advertising side.
That's the way it works, right? Just throwing a bunch of money at things.
Well, they want you to, but I always tell people, nobody's going to clean your house the way you clean your house. You can hire somebody to do it. It's the same thing with your business. Nobody's going to take care of your business the way you're going to take care of your business, especially a small business. So I started learning behind the scenes what they were doing and doing some research and this and that. So, I mean, it's just, I would have said, go ahead and, again, learn, do some research beforehand, and then, then kick it off. And because we wasted a lot of money on stuff we didn't need to waste money on, because their thing is, well, you put a bunch of money in it and we see what works, and then we see if it's scalable, and then we, trim some of the fat. Well, you're wasting a lot of money that you may not have as a small business owner. And, every dollar counts. Again, it goes back into the Facebook example, going into the back end and figuring out people have a birthday coming up in the next week, which you start getting into the back end of Facebook, and it's like, whoa, I'm never using Facebook again. You realize what companies actually track on you, and what they, the information they actually have on you is unbelievable.
Yeah. And, that's the cool and scary thing about Facebook is you are the product, right? They are marketing you to the business owner so that they can sell your information in mass scale, so that you can kind of get in there and do that stuff. But
I
to go
really
back
don't mind
to
it. I get a bunch of Mustang part ads like for just about everywhere I go, and it's like, oh, cool, car parts,
yeah, when I start getting
went
ads
to their
that I
website.
don't like, I go on like good car car sites and cool things that I really do want some ads on. So I've got my little I wouldn't call it a vision board, but a bucket list of items that I really want to get, and so I'll go through that and start filling my feed full of that stuff. So it's really nice to game the system a little bit.
But
Well,
I
and
mean,
it comes-
that's also kind of cool because I mean, like you said, if you have somebody with a birthday coming up, and it's like, oh, cool, or Mother's Day coming up, and you're sitting there and you're just scrolling through Facebook, and you're like, Mother's Day. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Click. You know what I mean? So some of those personalized ads are really, really, really beneficial to people, and I think that's one of the neat things they've done with being inside the tech sector now is that if you show somebody an ad for scuba diving, there's a big proportion of the people that are going to be like, no. But you show it to me because I'm a open water diver, and it's like, oh, hey, you have my attention. Like, yeah, what are you selling? At least a little bit interested. Whereas you're just rather than just hearing an ad on the radio and be like, I don't need childcare. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Well, and it goes down to like you're saying, when you visit a website and then you get off that website and you didn't purchase anything, you're just checking everything out. Then you get on Facebook to see what notifications you have, and an ad pops up from that same company you were just on their website. It's not by chance.
Yeah.
I mean, that's strategically placed.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the cool part, but also the scary part. It's like whatever you share and whatever you're clicking on, you're when you go onto a website, you're giving them cookie information, and they're saving cookies on you. And when you are putting a cookie onto your browser, and that basically that's telling Facebook or Google or whatever, basically what you've been searching for and catering to that. And so, in a way, it's kind of helpful. Target was one of the first ones to kind of get caught in that. With their magazine or their little brochure that they would mail you out, because they were tracking your, I believe, the credit card behaviors, or something like that. And so we've been doing this data collection, this mass data collection for 30 years, or more. But it's just now kind of like, oh, this is what's happening. And so you, as a business owner, you have to use what's in front of you to go after your clients. And that this is the way people are consuming their content right now. So great segue. What content are you consuming, Jeff? What are some books and some podcasts, or what are you reading? What have you read? What would you suggest to other business owners?
Well, I mean, here recently, I've started getting into a book, The MasterMind Marketing System by Jay Abraham. Really, it's about connecting with your customers. And marketing. It's psychological. It's also physical. Back when I go back to my corporate days, and we had Zig Ziglar come out and speak. I mean, I worked for a major national corporation. So back then they spent thousands and thousands of dollars training management into a lot of seminars that they'd have public speakers come out and basically say, like the 7 habits of health of a successful person, whatnot. I mean, it's one of those that they put a lot of money in me, and now I work for myself, and it's something that I can actually use. I mean, even back then, a lot of the same principles still apply. Business is business, sales are sales, sales pitches are sales pitches, and just the way that it's delivered, I think, is the change the digital age and really being in front of people digitally. When you see something and they're everywhere online, it's like, whoa, how can you not notice that?
Yeah, I think Phil and I mentioned this probably once a podcast. We're doing the same things, especially even in the nature of this pandemic virus thing. We're doing the same things as business owners have always done. However, we've got to do them in a different fashion, maybe a little bit. We could be sitting across the table from you, Jeff, and we look forward to the day that we can sit across the table from our guests on this podcast. But we kind of started this to help business owners in this time of need look at things in a different light and say, these are the same things we've got to do. We've got to prospect, we've got to sell, we've got to market, and we've got to continue business. But with the new limitations, how do we do that? Right.
Well, and I also think it's not just it's kind of like, Jeff, you keep going back to your corporate experience, and I think it's not just COVID-19 throws us a curveball, but it's also you didn't have to work in the same industry. Every industry obviously is doing different things. Like I worked for a CO2 company, and obviously a CO2 company does not do what a technology company does, but in a way, once you abstract all that out, they do. You have sales, you have the people that are actually providing the service, you have the back end people in accounting and all that kind of stuff, that are giving that data to the executives, and those executives are making decisions on what the company should be doing to make sure that it can survive and thrive. So in a way, even though we're doing very different things and very different actions, the same processes are at work, from accounting to marketing to sales to fulfillment, all those types of things, even though the businesses are very different, can learn things from each other.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, it comes down to, your approach. People don't realize that marketing itself is just getting noticed. So that billboard on the side of the road, even though it's old school technology, you're still notice it, whether you're in traffic or it's just big enough or, it catches your eye. It did its job, and that's really all it is. And sales is a little bit different. Sales goes a little bit farther and takes that marketing. Okay, now you know who we are and what we do. Now I want you to buy our product.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you're right. That old school, just kind of getting your logo out, getting your name out, even on a billboard, it's proven to work. It may not be something that is a good turnaround in 90 days, especially if you're brand new to the market. But kind of getting your name out there, getting your logo out there. It's the same thing that you've had to do forever. How do you get in front of them? Just like you said, when you're at a stop sign or a stoplight, people are looking down at their phones. So how do you get that billboard in front of those people and get your name out there?
My answer to that is Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Number one. I mean, Google's a top advertiser as far as revenue and dollars. Facebook, they say, is right behind them, but not everybody's going to Google, but they will check their notifications on their Facebook.
I'm hearing lots of great things about different platforms as well. YouTube and Facebook and Google are all kind of paid platforms. You've still got some things that have got some native response, such as the new TikTok. I'm pretty skeptical about that as my business is concerned. I don't know if you'll see me doing some dances on TikTok anytime soon.
One of our former guests that I know everyone here knows, Cory Mayfield of TRS Planus Roasters. I know he was telling me last time I was over to shop that he started using that pretty heavily. TikTok.
Oh, really?
I don't know what kind of response he's gotten out of it, but I do know that he said he has been posting quite a bit of stuff on it.
Well, very cool. Speaking of TikTok and other platforms, what platforms are you on, Jeff? Where can we find you online? Let's wrap it up. How can people find you? Website, social, Amazon, upcoming events. What are you doing? Things like that.
Yeah, you can find us online pretty much anywhere. I mean, our website address, again, is www.allfloweredup2, that's TOO.com, COM. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. You can call us directly anytime, day or night, at 806-993-0078.
Very cool. Thank you, Jeff, for joining us. And let's hand it back over to Dylan.
It looks like, hey, I really appreciate it, guys. That was a fantastic show, as always. So, like, what am I saying here? It looks like, let's see, Thursday, we are with Ross and Jacob Hamill of the Hamill Brothers Studio. So, like, that's kind of insane that you got that book in. That's, like, mind-blowing right there.
Those guys are awesome.
About their adventures in filmmaking, the high-end video production business, and a whole bunch of other things. So that is a definite can't miss. And then on next Tuesday, we got a very, very special guest. We got Katie Jane from Farmhouse Vineyards. And if y'all do any sort of wine here in West Texas, y'all know Farmhouse Vineyards. So I almost don't even need to tell you. So be here for that one as well. Hey, guys, are you tired of technology keeping you away from the parts of your business that you love? I know I am. Let Robb Technology Group take care of your business's tech so that you have both the tools and the time to focus on you and your business. From support to virtualization to networking, the veteran-owned and operated Robb Technology Group enables the success of your business with custom-made solution guys that actually work. Call Phil at 806-224-4380 to stop working for your business technology and have it start working for you, because that's what it's there for, y'all. And y'all know Lubbock Consulting. I know you guys know Lubbock Consulting because Cory's right down there. Since 2016, Lubbock Consulting has helped shape the way businesses is approached by providing solutions that help their clients become more efficient, more accountable, and more profitable. If your business is struggling to grow, struggling to keep up with its growth, or just can't seem to get over its overhead down, you're ready to level up with Lubbock Consulting. Call Cory today or email him anytime at Cory@LubbockConsulting.com. Looks like that's all I've got for you guys. Again, amazing show, and I cannot wait for your upcoming guest. Jeff, fantastic job today.
Thank you, Dylan.